Oscar-winning actress Viola Davis put her seal of approval inside L. Michelle Smith's latest book. It's titled Call and Response: 10 Leadership Lessons from the Black Church. And today, L. Michelle is here in studio with us to give us so much more. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Erin. It's so great to be here.
I'm so glad to have you here. So let's talk about it. Give us the vibe of this book. What inspired Call and Response?
Yeah, so the vibe is that it is not a religious text, despite the fact that the word church is in the title.
Yeah.
It's a business leadership book, and it has a lot of storytelling, it has some funny parts, but it has some very serious leadership lessons in it.
Okay, so you call the Black church basically a leadership secret sauce. So
Yeah.
what made it such a powerful training ground? Why start there?
Right. We call it the original business school. And for so many of us, we didn't realize it until later, like now. And now we have verbiage and language for it because we applied the science in the book
Yes.
to get the leadership theory.
Okay, I like this, but also this stems very much from our ancestors, from the culture, from our
Absolutely.
grandmas not playing with us in church, you know
Yes.
what I mean? It starts young. And so resilience is one of your 10 lessons. So what does that look like in real life? How does that show up, and how can we strengthen it?
Right. So I tell a story about how I went to visit my grandmother often in the summer times. And she lived in a little bitty house in Arkansas, and she'd be singing Mahalia Jackson. But what I did not realize, when she was saying, I'm going to lay down my burdens down by the riverside, in the language that we know today, she was rewiring her brain for resilience. In other words, she can anticipate the good that was going to come despite what was going on now, and she reframed it.
Okay, I like
Yeah.
that. Because you know what? The Lord did say there will be hills and there will be valleys,
Exactly.
right? And so, okay, I like how we're applying not just the things that we grew up with,
Right.
but even the text, the word as
Right.
well. Okay, now purpose is something everyone talks about. So how does call and response tradition actually help people in finding their voice?
Right. You talked about starting young, and we found that little people got big jobs in the Black church. And you know, even my white friends, I asked them, did you know what junior usher board was? And they did not know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's something that we do. It's a culture.
Yeah.
But so many of these young people got the first opportunity to lead in a big way, and they found their purpose in that they wanted to serve others. And while they were serving those people, they learned something about themselves. Heather Dowdy from Netflix is a great example. She's a coda. She's a child of deaf adults, and she had to learn how to sign really early. And at some point, a pastor voluntold her to get up on this platform and sign when she was 9 years old.
Wow.
And today, she makes accessibility technology for big corporations because she was all about doing that and serving in the church.
This is why we have to lean into our children. I feel like a lot of the times, you know, we put them in school and we say, okay, go get all of the basic knowledge. You
Right.
know what I mean? Let the teachers teach them. But it is our jobs and our community's job in order to make sure that we are pouring into them. And so that
Absolutely.
they know that these opportunities are possible.
Absolutely.
Now, let's talk about what can today's workplaces learn from the Black church? What collaboration can we get from that?
Absolutely. So collaboration is one of the 10 leadership lessons. And community is also, and they're very closely related. You know, we have teams, but usually that's just a group of individuals. We'd like for them to bond, and that's what community really is about. There is a hormone called oxytocin that the brain emits when we connect. So if you can have that, you'll have attunement between the people on your team, and you'll start to work as one. So you have to have something that you go through, and we're not just talking about pizza carts and wind down Wednesdays. We're talking about actually trying and failing, and learning from that. Here comes the resilience again, and it causes you to bond, and that team congeals.
Listen, when you can get through something and jump a hurdle together, you
Yes.
know, okay, we
And
can
the Black
work as
church
a team.
has done that
Yes.
over and again throughout history.
So would you say maybe that's the one step that we should apply if we had to? What's one piece of advice we can apply today? Would you say it would be that?
Yeah, I would absolutely say, especially right now, because leadership has taken a turn. In all levels, we're seeing return to office where there are ultimatums, just very harsh. Layoffs are a little bit less humane than they used to be. We're trying to return to heart-centered leadership, and each one of the executives in this book demonstrates courage, they demonstrate resilience, the ability to form community, and they're creative and innovative. And that's what we call heart-centered leaders. And we're trying to get back to that.
Yes, and we can get back to that. It just
Yes.
takes a little bit of work on each of our parts. Tell us where we can get the book.
Anywhere fine books are sold, but if you want to go quickly, go to lmichellesmith.com/call and response, and all the options are there.
Thank you so much for being here this morning
Thanks
and
for
giving us
having
the
me.
knowledge we need to move a little bit differently in our spaces as well.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.